Guys, in this video, I am going to be talking about a real dangerous Christian here. A Christian that is a real danger to the American people because of what he is actually promoting in this country. Now, when this story was first brought to my attention, I knew at that moment that I had to share this with you guys as quick as possible. I knew at that moment that this is information that everyone needs to know about, basically. Now, everyone does need to know about this information because what this Christian is promoting is a significant danger to society and all that we know. Now, we often see Christians like this throw reality, science, and logic out of the window completely because they think that they know better. They think that they know everything that there is to know. Now, many innocent Americans, unfortunately, have to suffer because of this preposterous and delusional attitude that these Christians have, and it sickens me to the point where I actually wonder why they have the power that they have in this country, specifically in Washington. Now, I guess that one of the things that really pisses me off the most about all of this is the fact that there are several gullible people out there that are so brainwashed by Christianity they will literally eat this propaganda up like it was the truth. I have always said that people have a right to believe what they want. However, at some point there does need to be a line drawn because we are talking about the health, safety, and security of fellow Americans. Now, Christians like the one that I'm going to be talking about in this video don't care about any of this. They never have and they never will. They want what they want and that's it. According to them, I guess we are supposed to just sit here and take what they have to offer, including their religious propaganda. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and take this shit. I'm going to fight this with every resource that I have, even if it's just spreading awareness. So after you guys watch this video in its entirety, please let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Oh yes, I want this video to be shared with as many people as possible. I don't care if it has to be shared with grandmothers, grandfathers, uncles, aunts, fathers, mothers, or the homeless people down the street. I would really appreciate it if this video was shared, and I thank you all in advance. Now, when it comes to Christians like this, they cannot get away with what they are doing. They have to be held accountable for their actions. Their policies that they want to implement through Washington have to be stopped. I hope that I don't bore you guys too much with this video. I just saw something that really pissed me off and it made me angry, and I do want to talk about it because it has to be done. It has to be talked about. Hello everybody, the Quiet Atheist here coming at you with another interesting video today. Now, I want to put a severe amount of emphasis on interesting, and here in a minute you guys will actually see why I want to do that. Now, today I'm going to be talking about the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, who is a Christian, by the way, and quite possibly one of the most morally bankrupt Christians I have ever known about, to be honest. Now, you Christians out there will probably wonder why I have such a strong opinion about the man. Well, I'm about to reveal the answer to you Christians out there, and I hope that by the end of this video you guys will understand why I feel the way that I do. Now, hopefully you guys will understand why I dislike Christianity so much, because when it comes down to it, Christianity in its entirety is responsible for all of this because it encourages people to do these horrible things that I'm about to talk about in this video. Now, I simply cannot turn my head and just pretend that these problems do not exist. I want to address them head on, and I want to share them with you guys so we can actually get a conversation going about this. I worry a lot, I have to be honest. I worry because Christian Vice President Mike Pence has too much power, and the longer that he has it, things are going to get much worse for everyone who doesn't run in his precious delusional circles. So let's get into this story about the Vice President that I have for you guys today. Now, the story itself starts off by saying, like the title of this video states, Mike Pence claims condoms are too modern and too liberal. Donald Trump's running mate is a dangerous Christian extremist who wants creationism taught in public schools and believes the government should pay for gay conversion therapy. Now, in addition, in 2015, as governor of Indiana, Pence allowed an HIV outbreak to spread, choosing prayer over a clean needle exchange. But perhaps one of the most idiotic claims made by Pence is that condoms are too modern, too liberal, and offer a poor defense against sexually transmitted infections and diseases. Pence's bizarre and unsubstantiated claims concerning condoms came in 2002 in response to then Secretary of State Colin Powell saying in an MTV forum that sexually active young people should protect themselves with condoms. At the time, Powell said, and I quote, "I think it's important for young people, especially to protect themselves from the possibility of acquiring any sexually transmitted disease, but specifically to protect themselves from HIV/AIDS, which is a plague that is upon the face of the earth." I guess that the vice president just wants us all to go bareback. He is essentially saying, okay, everybody, condoms are just too modern, and you guys will be absolutely fine without them. You guys don't have to worry about catching anything. Everything will be just fine. I will ask this again. Why are Christians like this allowed to have positions of power? Seriously. It is clear that he does not have any respect for science. It is clear that he does not take health issues seriously. The only thing that he is doing with this ignorant and misinformed position is putting people's lives at risk. Innocent people. It all boils down to the religious propaganda and the theocracy that he wants to implement. The only thing that I can say about this is I hope that people do not, and I mean do not, take him seriously. Something tells me, of course, that it's only going to get worse. I mean, just look at the track record when it comes to these delusional Christians like this. They are not exactly known for solving any problems or making any progress. Well, I take that back. They do make a lot of progress when it comes to the destruction that they create. Now, like many other Christians, this vice president wants to rip apart the Constitution so Christians can have the opportunity to teach their religious propaganda to children in the public school system. He doesn't give a shit about lying to the children, and he never will. On top of this garbage, he actually wants the government to pay for something that the LGBTQ community does not need, which is gay conversion therapy. Now, you see, Mr. Pence, being gay is not a choice for the LGBTQ community. It's not like they woke up one day and said, I think that I'm going to choose to sleep with someone of the same sex today. Really? They were born that way, and if you cannot accept that, it's your problem, nobody else's. If you cannot treat people with respect and have compassion for them, you don't deserve to be a leader in this country. That may be a little extreme, but it is what it is. The way that I see it is simple. A lot of Christians need to put their religious nonsense and hatred to the side in order to start really caring. Actually care for human beings, Vice President. It actually might do you some good. The issue that really angers me, guys, is the fact that nothing will be done about this or things like this in the future. Now, Christians, like the Vice President, are going to continue with their abuse, and millions of Americans are only going to suffer because of it. Just look at what is happening now in this country. I'll tell you guys what else pisses me off. The Vice President thinks that prayers are going to somehow cure HIV. That is right, guys. He is basically saying, or has been known to say, screw actual medical and scientific progress. We are just going to pray over you, and that is going to take all of the pain away. In reality, guys, this prayer nonsense is not going to make anything better. In fact, it is actually going to make things worse. More people will die if this prayer nonsense is actually pursued. Do these morally bankrupt Christians care? No, they don't. Because if they actually cared about these people that are sick, they wouldn't rely on fairy tales to try and make people feel better. Unfortunately, to these Christians, fairy tales are more important than someone who is sick with HIV or cancer. Then people wonder why this country is basically going down the fucking drain. Take a look. It is right there for everyone to see. Christianity is tearing this country apart. I really love how these Christians think that they are somehow scientists, right? The vice president made the claim that condoms offered a poor defense against sexually transmitted infections and diseases. Clearly, the evidence doesn't support this nonsense. But do you think he really cares about that? Nope. He never will care because it is not a part of the narrative that he wants to spin. Man, I am having a real tough time dealing with this, guys, because these people get away with way too fucking much. My question is this: how many innocent people have to die before others start holding these morally bankrupt Christians accountable for their ignorant decisions that they make and the misinformed actions that they take? That is the ultimate question here. The power of a fairy tale is strong, unfortunately. Let's continue on with this story, guys, and let's see what shakes loose, basically. Now, in an interview with CNN, while advocating for abstinence-only sex education, Pence said Powell's call for condom use could mislead millions of young people and put their lives at risk. Pence told CNN's Wolf Blitzer that it was a sad day because Powell had suggested condoms over abstinence. Well, Wolf, I think it was, given the enormous stature that Colin Powell rightly has, not only in America but in the world community. It was a sad day. I don't think any administration has had a worse day since Boxers and Briefs on MTV. And the truth is that Colin Powell had an opportunity here to reaffirm this president's commitment to abstinence as the best choice for our young people, and he chose not to do that in the first instance. So I think it's very sad. The other part is that, frankly, condoms are a very, very poor protection against sexually transmitted diseases. And in that sense, Wolf, this was the Secretary of State maybe inadvertently misleading millions of young people and endangering lives. Wow, the vice president is coming out with some nonsense, isn't he? Abstinence may be okay for some people, but it's not okay for everyone. People are going to want to engage in intimate interactions with others, and you know what, Vice President? It's their right to do that. So using protection like condoms, etc., is the responsible thing to do because it does help protect people from things that have the potential of being dangerous. The facts do not line up with the nonsense that you are trying to push here, Vice President. You are the one that is actually misleading millions of young people, and you're putting their lives at risk with your ignorance and your motivation to ignore the facts that are being presented to you. I know to you fairy tales sound so much better, but try paying attention to the facts for once. Try paying attention to the actual science that is involved here. Do you know what I think is sad, Vice President? Seeing you trying to tell today's young people what they can and cannot do with their own bodies. That is preposterous. Our fellow Americans are not puppets. They are not going to sit there and let you shove your religious values or your religious propaganda down their throats like this. It's not going to happen. To be honest with you, Vice President, I don't blame them either. Christianity cannot be allowed to do anything because it's not compatible with modern society. Now, I will say this again. You have every right, Vice President, along with all other Christians, to practice your religion. However, what you do not have a right to do is shove your religious stuff basically down the throats of other people who do not want it, who want to live their own lives. I hope you can actually understand that. And that is why I have such a hostile position towards Christianity, because people like you want to do the opposite. People like you want to cause harm in society. And that is exactly why I think that Christianity is not compatible in modern society. We see what it's doing, and we see the problems that Christianity is creating on a daily basis. Now, the story itself, guys, continues on by saying Pence then went on to suggest that condoms are too modern and too liberal for him. The problem is it was too modern of an answer, Wolf. It was. It truly was a modern, liberal answer to a problem that parents like me are facing all over America and, frankly, all over the world. The vice president seems to enjoy repeating himself, doesn't he? Now, I don't know what planet the vice president is from, but condoms are not modern. They are not a modern idea that was just created by man. In fact, I think that they have been around much longer than the vice president has. Now, according to the vice president, guys, safe sex is a problem for him and people like him all over the country. What did he say again about it? Parents like me are facing these problems all over America. I have to be honest, guys. This has got to be one of the most dishonest, misinformed, and ignorant statements that I have ever heard. I think that the one important thing that we can get out of this is the fact that education is the enemy for a lot of Christians, including the vice president. Can that be a disaster for Americans? Like I have said before, yes, it can. For years, we have been able to see what a morally bankrupt Christian mindset can do. The sad thing about all of this is the fact that we are going to continue to see it. Do we combat it with facts? Yes, we need to do that. Our best weapon is facts. Children are essentially our tomorrow. The human species will descend into madness, war, and all types of other horrific things if we have nothing in our minds but fairy tales rattling around and pipe dreams. There's more to this, guys, and I will leave it in the description for everyone to take a look at it when you guys get the chance, of course. Now, lastly, I hope that everybody enjoyed this video. As you guys can tell, I have spent a lot of time on this one. I just thought that this stuff had to get out there to you guys. That is the important thing to me. This ignorance cannot be allowed to spread at all in any way, shape, or form. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.